There is a place where world-class players go to die. Not literally, but professionally. A place where 18 million euros talents arrive to their heads high and leave on loan 2 years later, their confidence shattered, their careers drilled. And here's the thing, it's not a one club, it's two, Barcelona and Manchester United, the graveyard of stars. You already know the names like Memphis Depay, Alexis Sanchez, Donny van de Beek, Jadon Sancho, Philippe Coutinho, Antonio Griezmann, and Ousmane Dembélé, players who were supposed to define eras, players who defined nothing. But this isn't a coincidence, and it's not even about luck. This is a pattern, a blueprint of distraction that's been running for almost a decade. And now, if you watched the first video, you will know that's how Barcelona built this machine of failure from the inside out. But what you don't know yet is how Manchester United became their mirror image, how two of the biggest clubs in the history started feeding off the same poison, and how one of them learned to exploit the other. Let me take you back in 2013. Sir Alex Ferguson retires, and Barcelona just lost to Bayern Munich 7-0 in aggregate. Two giants, two different crises. But here's where it gets interesting. Barcelona crisis was technical. They needed to evolve their system, refresh the squad, move beyond tic-tac dependence. But when it comes to United's crisis, was structural. Like, they had no pain, no football vision, no identity beyond "we are Manchester United." And that's the difference, because when Barcelona started making mistakes, they at least had a philosophy to fall back on. But when it comes to United, they had the Glazers, Ed Woodward, and a commercial department pretending to be a football club. So when both clubs started shopping in the same market, chasing the same players, throwing around the same ridiculous fees, only one of them knew what they were doing, and it wasn't United. At 2015, Memphis Depay, PSV Eindhoven's golden boy, 2020 goals, Eredivisie Player of the Year, and United and Barcelona wanted him, but he picks United. Why? Because Louis van Gaal promised him the number 7 shirt, promised him freedom, told him he would be the next big thing at Old Trafford. 18 months later, he's pensioned, confidence gone, shipped to Lyon for only 16 million euros. And where does he rebuild his career? Barcelona. At 2021, Memphis Depay signs for Barca on a free transfer. Scores, assets, look as a competent, not world class but functional, because by the time he got there, his peak was already gone. United had used him up, and Barcelona picked up the scraps. That's not a transfer, that's a harvest. Now let's talk about the one that really stings. Alexis Sanchez. At January 2018, Arsenal are willing to sell, but Manchester City want him. And also when it comes to Pep Guardiola, his old manager wants him as well. But United step in, and they offer him $505,000 a week. And this is the biggest contract in Premier League history. Why? Not because they needed him, not because he fit the system, but because Ed Woodward wanted to prove United could still win a transfer battle against City. It was a ego, a pure ego, and when Alexis arrives and within 3 months, you can see it in his face. He doesn't want to be there. He is 29 years old and his legs are gone, and the system doesn't suit him. And also when it comes to the manager, and the manager doesn't trust him. He plays 45 games and he scores only 5 goals. And here is the kicker. Alexis Sanchez was brilliant at Barcelona from 2011 to 2014. 100 goals in 3 seasons. It was like electric, dangerous, unstoppable. But by the time United got him, he wasn't that player anymore. And United didn't care. They just wanted the name, the headline. And when it all fell apart, they paid Inter Milan just to take him off in their hands. Another star, another grave. But the moment that exposed everything, the moment that made it undeniable, wasn't a transfer, it was a decision. In 2020, Donny van de Beek, Alex midfielder, brilliant in Champions League, wanted by Real Madrid, and United swap in 40 million euros. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer tells the press, Donny gives us more option in midfielder, and then he doesn't play him, not in the big games, not in the small games. He only sits on the bench for 2 years while Fred and McTominay start every week. Donny doesn't get injured, doesn't cause problems, and even doesn't complain publicly. He just rots. And when he finally speaks up, when he asks for clarity, when his agent demands answers, United loan him out. First to Everton, then permanently to Gennaro, a 40 million midfielder, at 20 years old in his prime, and they threw him away without even trying. That's not a bad management, that's a negligence. And it told every top player in Europe one thing: Manchester United will waste you. Now look at Barcelona during the same period. Coutinho, 142 million euros, pensioned, loaned to Bayern, sold at a loss. And also when it comes to Griezmann, 107 million euros, played out of position and sold back to Atletico. Dembo, 135 million euros, injured half the time and let it go on free. And also when it comes to Ferran Torres, 55 million euros, scores only 4 goals in his first season. The numbers are obscene, but here's what it makes worse. Barcelona were broke, financially destroyed, and they kept spending, but when it comes to United, were rich, commercially dominant, and they kept wasting. 2 clubs, same disease. But one of them was feeding off the other. How? Because every time United misused a player, every time they ruined someone's confidence, and every time they broke a talent, Barcelona was watching, waiting, and when the price dropped low enough, they picked them up. For example, Beek, Malcolm, even Frankie de Jong, who United chased for 2 years, stayed at Barcelona because he was seeing what happens to everyone else. United became the warning, and Barcelona became the scavenger. So here's what you need to understand. First, it doesn't matter how good you are, because if you put prime Messi in United team back in 2013 to now, he would struggle. If you put prime Ronaldo in Barcelona post in 2017, he would be mismanaged, pinched and sold. Because it's not the player, it's the patch. These clubs became black holes to swallow greatness. Second, the money. Between them, like Barcelona and United have spent over 1.5 billion euros on players since 2014. And both clubs get worse, not stagnant, just worse. That's not a market failure, that's an institutional suicide. Third, they used to build from the heart. La Masia gives us Xavi, Iniesta, Messi. The class of 22 gives us Beckham, Scholes, Giggs, and Neville. Now, they buy from the ego, and also they don't develop players, they consume them. And when they are done, they throwing them away. That's why both clubs are failing. That's why the cycle won't stop. So let me leave you with this. If a world-class player, 22 years old in his prime, gets an offer from Barcelona or Manchester United tomorrow, is it a dream move or is it a career suicide? Because right now I'm not sure anymore, and neither are they.